Hey, Sophie. Oh, shoot! Late to class. Welcome to Jank University. I am Professor Jank, and today we have a lesson about taking cards. Taking extra prizes, or less prizes. And we really want to talk about the game design behind Pokemon TCG. So, here we go. In my opinion, the key aspect of competitive Pokemon playing, TCG side, is trading board states. There's no interrupts in Pokemon TCG. Your turn is fully yours. Your opponent's turn is fully theirs. So what you want to do on your turn is create a puzzle to force your opponent to solve. Right? You're going to introduce new things like new Pokemon attaching energy in different ways, and you're going to create this puzzle of a board state, then trade it back to your opponent, and then your opponent gets to solve your board state and then create their own puzzle. And you go back and forth solving and creating puzzles until one of you becomes the winner. So, taking extra prizes is one of the key aspects of becoming a winner. With taking extra prizes, there's a lot of different ways to do it. 3 of these are in standard format, 1 of them's in expanded. And to start off, we are going to talk about the least fair of them all, being Arceus and Dialga and Palkia GX, right? Tag team. If you do not remember what this card did, it had Altered Creation GX, which was a once per game attack. And basically, for the rest of the game, you did more damage and you took 1 extra prize every knockout. There was no way for your opponent to disable this effect, and this effect could, most of the time, be started fairly early in the game, preventing your opponent from stopping you from starting it, right? Next, we have Iron Hands EX, which is still in the standard format. Iron Hands, with Amp You Very Much, is able to take 1 extra prize card when it uses that attack to knock out a Pokemon. And currently, Iron Hands can be played down, accelerated energy onto, in the same turn, and before your opponent can react, take an extra prize with that knockout. So there is no trading board states at that point with that piece of the puzzle. That is not a piece of puzzle to solve. Just like ADP, Iron Hands can very much not be a puzzle and just be a game-breaking effect. So let's talk about some more fair ones, right? Like Rabombi. I really like this Rabombi. Came out in Temporal Forces. For a single energy, it would do 30 damage. And during your next turn, if the defending Pokemon is knocked out, you take 2 more prizes. 2 more prizes. That's a lot more prizes. How is Rabombi more fair when you take 2 extra prizes than ADP and Iron Hands, which only take 1 extra prize? I'll tell you. Rabombi states during your next turn. So that gives your opponent a whole turn to negate this effect, right? And the effect is placed on the defending Pokemon, so it's super easy to remove effects on defending Pokemon. You'd get them out of the active. Play a switch. If you switch out of the active, that Pokemon no longer has that effect. And so your opponent is able to solve that piece of the puzzle, right? That's where Rabombi is way more fair. Next up, we've got Luxurious Cape. And Luxurious Cape is an interesting one because this is less about your opponent taking an extra prize and more about you giving them an extra prize because you control where you attach Luxurious Cape, if you play it at all. Sure, you get 100 more HP for your Pokemon, but when your opponent knocks it out, they take an extra prize. So that's the most fair because you're the one playing that down. If you don't play that down, guess what? They don't get to take an extra prize because of it. And that's where cards like Iron Hands and ADP are unfair or considered unfair, in my opinion, on the game design. Next up, we have taking fewer prizes, which seems like it would be the same, right? You can give up prizes, you can, take fewer prizes. So taking fewer prizes, it just means your opponent takes less prizes than they should for this knockout. And we've got, of course, most fair to least fair here. So let's go ahead and start with the least fair, being Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory is a 2-card combo where you just give up one less prize with Monkey Dory, right? If you got Pekarant on the field, your Monkey Dory EX give up one less prize. And that's an easy puzzle to solve. Gust up the Pekarant, knock that out, take 2 prizes. No more Pekarant EX on the field, knock out Monkey Dory, there's another 2 prizes. But as long as your opponent's able to keep Pekarant out on the field, where Monkey Dories are going to be worth the 1. Frostlass EX. This is on a coin flip. If you read its ability, if this Pokemon is in the active spot and is knocked out, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize card. 50% chance. You might flip tails and they take 2 prizes. You might flip heads and they take 1. Shedinja. This one's older. This isn't expanded, but I think it does a good job at explaining this a little bit more. Shedinja had an interesting way to be recovered, and that would be with Ninjask, right? You evolve up into Ninjask, you can move a Shedinja from your discard pile onto your bench. When Shedinja is on your bench, no matter how it got there, you may discard all cards attached to this Pokemon and attach it to one of your Pokemon as a Pokemon tool. When the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize card. So, this involves a lot of steps of getting Shedinja out on the field, using its effect, attaching it to a Pokemon, and then your opponent can discard it just like they could any tool card with things like, Field Blower, Tool Jammer would disable it, Lost Vacuum, all that stuff, right? So, again, it's difficult to, repeat this, and your opponent has plenty of opportunity to negate this, making it very fair. Black Market Prism Star. It is a one-of. All Prism Stars were a one-of in your deck, and this just allowed your Darkness Pokemon that have Darkness Energy attached, when they're knocked out, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize. But your opponent had opportunity to play their own stadium to knock this one out. This did come with a little bit extra protection that an item or a supporter card can't be used to discard it. Only done with replacing the stadium. Legacy Energy. We've seen Legacy Energy in other ways, like Life Do, the old Ace spec, right? Legacy Energy is itself an Ace spec, and you can only have one Ace spec in your deck at a time, right? And Legacy Energy provides any energy type, but also if that Pokemon that's attached to is knocked out by damage, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize. But that's easily dealt with. We've got Enhance Hammer right here in the format currently, which just discards special energy, which is what Legacy Energy is. So, out of all the cards I showed you, out of all the explanations I gave, what do you think was the most fair? And I guess if you want, you can fill out a comment down below about your teacher for today, Professor Jank, and, let me know if you liked this content or not. All right, until next time, keep playing Jank.